My boats are only 10 foot long and they are powered by a 4-horsepower engine. This one looks like a bath, but in fact is a very good workboat. Weight is my main consideration. It's a long way to the sea on a low tide. I work 4 to 6 single pots on marks which my father showed me. I catch about 100 lobsters a year, of which I throw back at least half because they're below the minimum size. There's nothing more temporary than a calm sea around here. The trick is to use the ocean, whatever its state.
You have to have a lot of respect for the ocean, and most fishermen do. Quite a few years back, I blew the windows right out of the wheelhouse because we got hit by a wave, and you got to have a lot of respect for it. If you don't, it can hurt you or kill you. You know, there's been times we've gone out, turned around, and come back because it wasn't what it was supposed to be. And there's always tomorrow. There's another day you can go out and get the fish, and greed will get the best of you. You know.
Kevin's Port in Rhode Island sustains an almost identical fishery as my port, Padstow, 3,000 miles east, where my mate Mike England has a boat, which he inherited from his father, Trevor. Mike fishes for lobster and crab. These are inkwell pots. They're made fast to a piece of rope called a becket. That's joined to the strop by a spinner. The strop is spliced to the back rope. They're 12 fathoms apart. The back rope is connected to the end weight, and the buoy rope runs off that. You've got dands secured both ends. You can have 30 pots to a tier. Even the most diligent of fishermen lose their gear. Inkwells dance in a grand sea, which can lift the lot and dash it to pieces. Throughout the wrecking season, buffs, bongos, dans, gate hooks, bait rings, pot necks, parlours, creels, nanties and soft eyes. The poetry of fishing is scattered along the strand line. I don't take all of this gear home. Some of it I exchange for bait. Right, Mike, I got a couple of pots.
I love the job. Mackerel.
Ah, that's nice. Yeah. In this parish, us wreckers have always been fishermen. Jack Brenton and Sid Sandry shot a trannel net across Trescore, and Harry Parkin was a quarrier. He had access to dynamite, and when the fishing was slack, he would lob half a diney into the sea and stun them into submission. he never went home empty-handed.
How's Nick today then?
Hi.
Brian Bate is another fisherman who trades old pots for gear.
I got a few old ones at home I'm going to patch up and put down here, so I could do a couple for you as well and chuck some in there for you.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I know I always give you a couple every year.
Well, I tell you what, I got a load of buffs on gear that I picked up off the beach in the summer. Anything like that, I could swap them over.
Hope you get better pretty soon.
Thanks. I'll see you kids soon.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, I'll sort some out for you anyway.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheerio. He shoots his traps in St. Evil Bight, where I shoot mine. Good ground for lobsters, rock onto sand. I can't resist picking stuff up.
Well, no, I mean, it's all... It's all given to you then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, put the buffs in first, right?
Yeah.
There's several anyways.
Yeah.
These here, Andy, probably the ones I lost anyway.
The other thing I pick up a hell of a lot of is spinners.
Yeah, Michael gave me some the other day that you give him.
Oh, right, okay. This one too, can you get that
I don't know if I'll get that one in my little truck, actually. I have to take the flag off because I know the man who owns this one.
I know. Make sure that you get rid of it before you go through St. Mary.
Yeah, I'll put one of mine on in there. Yeah, there'll be alright, Nick.
Yeah.
I got a couple of pots of...
This one any good?
Yeah, I'll take that one. He won't catch no crab. He will only catch lobsters.
That's all right.
And he got a very small neck. So
Oh, I
keep the
see.
big spiders out. So I thought
Yeah.
that would be ideal for you.
Yeah, brilliant. How many pots are you working at the moment?
650 at the moment.
Oh my God. All on your own, that is? That's
Yeah, I work
incredible.
600. Yeah, but I only do 200, 250 a day.
Right.
That's enough.
It is, my God. Every rock and cove in this parish has a name. Porthangear, the Nancy, Rubble Cove, Butter Cove, Porthmere, Totty Cove, Trescore, the Turtle. That rock is called the Chick, and next to it is Wills's Rock. This is Jan Leverton's island. Jan Leverton is lost in memory. Nobody can remember who he was, but that is all the more reason for preserving his name. This is Boathouse, where my grandfather kept his boat. It's also where Sid Sandry kept his boat. These names show how much this coast was once used, but they're almost forgotten. If this happens, their history will have gone forever, and a community which loses its past is in danger of losing its way. My grandfather was a sea captain. He spent his whole life at sea. He was wrecked himself twice off the Cape. As a sailor, he never wasted anything. So naturally, he was the first on the beach when anything washed in. This stretch of coast is notorious for shipwrecks. That's the Hemsley. It was on its last passage to Antwerp to be broken up. The crew had been told to turn left at Land's End, but the fog was thick as guts around Trevose Head, so they turned left there instead. Ran into Fox Cove, walked up the cliff, knocked on Jerry Chandler's door, sat down and had a cup of tea.
I got a few things off the Hemsley, but the anchor was a big thing. My father had it, actually. Not me, it was him.
And he worked for the man, didn't he?
No, I did for a little while, just when I was working for father, obviously, but I went then and used to help him weekends. Used to love that.
How long did it take?
It took a long time because, to be quite honest, they went about it all wrong.
In what way?
Well, it was overhanging cliff there.
Yeah.
You know, and everything they cut up, they tried to bring up over the overhanging cliff, and they broke the rope so many times, it's unbelievable. Still there, isn't she?
Yeah,
Most of it, yeah.
Coal appears on this beach almost every day. It comes from a wreck called the Cecilia, which drifted into Rowan Cove next door when its cargo shifted in a gale. That was in 1895, and we're still picking it up. Over the years, the lumps have got smaller, but they still burn. On the 18th of March 1967, the Torrey Canyon struck the 7 stones off the Land's End. It spilt 100,000 tons of crude oil. The stench was overpowering. My mother was nauseous for weeks. The old man was an authority on seabirds, but he was also a chicken farmer, so he knew how to wring a bird's neck. The morning trip to the beach to find oiled guillemots and razorbills became the dreaded ritual. They just sat in a sea of oil, waiting to be slaughtered. The Kadima ran aground in a gale at Whitsands Bay. It had a cargo of wood, not good quality, but useful. Wreckers and their culture have been hijacked by romantic novelists. They are portrayed as murderous deviants who lured ships onto rocks with a light tied to a donkey's tail, even though it's never been documented and is completely impractical. Ships are wrecked because of navigational error, loss of control, bad judgment, or rough weather. Wood plays a major part in a wrecker's life. There's a vast horizontal forest floating in the ocean. Every tree is represented: softwood, hardwood, gunnage for hacking freight, pit props, fence posts, telegraph poles. All this lumber suits the Cornish very well because the land of fish and tin has very few trees. Most of the men of this parish were slingers who travelled from farm to farm doing jobs like flashing, hedging, or picking mangles. But they would go cliff before doing a day's work, and if there was wood washed in, they would climb down and put it on their back. The rule was, and it still is, if you get it across the high water mark, it's yours. They could get a day's wages for a plank of wood.